Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have on Tobias Young. Tobias, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mike. Yes, a longtime dude in the fitness industry. So started actually training clients 26 years ago now. And then I started to actually compete, take it more serious. I started managing gyms, started building out training departments in some of the big corporate gyms like Gold's, 24-Hour Fitness, In Shape Health Clubs. And eventually I figured that there's got to be a better way than capping yourself with in-person training, right? So that's when I would have people that were reaching out to me because they would see me in some of the magazines and they'd be like, hey, Tobias, like, can you write out your workouts? Can you do nutrition plans? And that was the birth of when I started to do online training 16 years ago, believe it or not. It was back before it was like a thing. And so at the time, I didn't know much about marketing, and I slapped together my own website that I built on Weebly for free and started to actually sell online training programs. And before you knew it, I was like wanting to make that business more of a full-time business because I love being able to help people and being able to really make that transition in their bodies and their health and so forth. And now I help, obviously, coaches make the transition online. But I figured that I needed some help because I've been doing it for about 5 years, Mike. And I got to the point where I was kind of stuck at how far that I can get on my own. And I was still managing gyms and I was working 12 hours a day at the gyms and coming home and then having to work on my online training business. And then I have 2 daughters and I was competing and sponsored athlete with Optimum. So they were flying me out, all over the place. And then finally I was like, let me just hire a business coach to help me with my marketing so I could be able to help more people with their fitness. And that's when things started to take off, right? So initially I was very apprehensive about hiring a business coach because I had never really done that before. But I figured if I wanted to take that next step and really get help, I needed to learn from somebody that had skills, greater than my own. And so that's when I was scared to death. I think the first big business coach that I paid for was like 10 grand at the time. And I didn't even have 10 grand. So I had to put it on a credit card and make payments on that. And then before you know it, that was a thing of the past where my business was already starting to grow and scale. And I was able to transition away from managing multiple gyms to just doing 100% online. And, I had times where my wife was able to just stay home, have kids, do all those things in there because the business really started to do wonderful things. And then the last 5 years now, I've actually been helping other fitness coaches and trainers be able to replicate the success and be able to build out their own online fitness business and take it to 6 figures or more.
Amazing. So you kind of went from one type of coach to another type of coach. And how's that transition been? Did you carry on some values from the first type of coaching, which is actual in gym fitness coaching, to kind of helping other coaches become online coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of those things are always going to transition over. Something like where you have to go out and you have to talk to people. You can't be scared to talk to people on the workout floor. If you're a personal trainer that's too scared to go up to somebody and say, hey, how are you? My name's, Tobias. Nice to meet you. If you ever have any questions, let me know. Or, hey, I can show you a couple other different variations that could, target that body part as well. Are you open to check out some new things? And if they're like, yeah, obviously, you're going to have people that are going to be open to it and you're going to have people that aren't. But if you don't go up and say hi to people, then you're never going to make that connection in there. And it's the same thing with social media. You have to be social on social media. And obviously with the right type of strategies, then you can get more inbound leads, coming into you, especially over time, once you build a little bit more authority and have, nurture systems in place in there too. But initially, like as you're getting started, you kind of have to be where, when people first start liking and commenting and following you, you have to be able to reach out to them and just say, just relate to them and be like, hey, thanks so much for the follow. I see you're also into X as well. How's that going for you? Just relating to them without trying to sell them. Right. Because when two people are having conversations, the algorithm is also going to help you out too. So now they're going to start to see your posts, because Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you're on is like, hey, these two people know each other. They're going back and forth in conversation. Now your content is going to get showed to them and their content is going to get showed to you. So then when you have posts that are relevant to helping them, now they're going to start to see you as more of that coach that can solve their problem.
Definitely. And I love that in terms of what you said about like, the technical term is like doing outbound, reaching out to other people. Is that kind of like the way you go about getting clients, or like, what do you rely on more? Do you rely more on the organic side in terms of letting them come to you, or are you going out and reaching out to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's combination. So there's several different pathways. So I like to have nurture systems in place, because now more than ever, everything's noisier. Everybody's a coach. Everybody's trying to help. So you have to be able to stand out from everybody, right? So I think that having like 3 nurture systems. So for example, if you have a community, for example, a Facebook group where you're going into your group and you're giving value and you're doing live streams every week and you're giving away free resources to the members that are in your free group, then they're going to start to be like, oh, damn, Tobias is like giving some sick content. And then when they're ready, work with a coach. Obviously you're going to be the one. And then also capturing their email. So obviously you can have the 3 questions that you ask them when they join your group from email. Then you can start to nurture them on the back end. And from email, guess what you can do? You can send them to your other platforms. You can send them to, hey, I just created a YouTube video on, the 3 steps to X. And then you can send them to your Instagram, and you can send them to your LinkedIn, and you can then be omnipresent. And then when they see you everywhere, they're going to literally think of you as that go-to coach. And then when they are ready to work with a coach, once again, you're going to be the one to work with. So you have to be able to also use email effectively, and then have an effective social media strategy as well. So that way you can nurture your prospects. So it's not just like only posting workout videos of your abs, like every single thing. Yes, you might get a lot of likes of that because people like abs, but it's not helping them solve their big problem. So you have to think from them, in their point of view, what do they feel like they're going to be searching for? What do they feel like they need help with? And then create a strategy around helping them solve those problems.
Amazing. I really, really love what you're saying. And it's pretty similar to what we do in terms of how we help our clients, in terms of building out those nurture sequences and positioning themselves as the authority, as you said, inundating them with, sort of content to the point where when they are in that position where they need help, you're the first person they think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think you got to have your inbound strategy, obviously, where you generate inbound leads like that. If you're doing social media correctly, you should be having that. But then also outbound, like we were talking about too. And I'm not talking about sending a bunch of cold DMs to complete strangers. I'm talking about when people start to follow, you have to be able to connect with them and just resonate with them. And then, people that are on your feed that you're already connecting with, hey, comment on their feed. If they go hike and be like, oh, damn, that's awesome. Where is this? Just start to generate that whole conversation, that buzz. Or, if they create a meal, you can be like, oh, that's delicious. I tried that, but I also created a high protein variety too. It's super good. Just get in that conversation, be present in groups where they hang out, right? Because then if you can be in a group in front of thousands of people and not trying to sell them anything, but just be that person that gives value to them. So people, when they know, oh, damn, this person has always good answers and is super helpful. Let me send them a DM because I have a question on something myself. Then you're going to be the one that starts doing that. And then you can build more friends, more followers, more conversations, which ultimately is going to lead, to usually calls booked.
Amazing, man. You seem really excited and happy to speak about social media. Is it how did you get to learn so much about the strategies and the funnels and all that?
Well, I learned that initially it was the tough way. I was trial and error, and then I was like, you know what? let me take the shortcut. Let me get in the Lamborghini and instead of staying in the Pinto.
And the private jet.
Right. So I started to work with some very high level business coaches. I've worked with a lot of them. I've invested well over 6 figures just in business coaches to be able to help me to learn those kind of things in there too. Right. So I figure, like, you know, why try to figure everything out yourself and throw spaghetti at the wall trying to figure everything out when, hey, there's other people that have already figured out the exact formula and obviously pick their brain. So you're going to learn 100 times faster. And now that I have that knowledge, I'm able to, you know, help the coaches that I work with and be able to implement. So that way, you know, from month 1, they start to make revenue as opposed to waiting till, like, you know, month 8, you know, where some of them are kind of stuck for a long time.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, our audience is really full of young entrepreneurs, young coaches, young experts. And when I say young, I don't mean age-wise. I mean just in the industry in general or on social media. So what would you say to them in terms of what they should look out for? What is the number one thing you think they would struggle with in terms of growth? So just so they can look out for it and kind of have planned their way around it.
Yeah, there's 2 things that you got to do if you're starting off as an entrepreneur. Number 1, first and foremost, is find a coach that's already figured out how to do the thing that you are looking to do and follow their roadmap, because it's already built. It will be 100 times faster. And even though it will be an investment, it will actually save you money because of all the time and energy that you're going to spend trying to figure it out on your own, taking a million other courses and watching a million YouTube videos and all that thing. Trust me, it will streamline your process. You will thank me later. The second thing is to actually be more clear on your avatar. I see way too many people come into the industry, especially coaches, and they try to target multiple types of niches and multiple types of audiences, thinking that that's the best way to get more clients. But that's farthest from the truth. And I'll tell you why, right? So imagine as a fitness coach, we'll just say this, for example, you know, you can help out multiple types of people. And let's just say you're going to do posts on helping, you know, guys get jacked, get 6-packs, get crazy ripped, you know, and get in the best shape of their lives. And then so you start posting about all these different things. Here's how you get peaks on your biceps. Here's how you get shredded abs. And then your next post, you're like, hey, I also know I can help these women. And like the women that just had a baby that maybe are lacking self-confidence. They have like 30 or 40 pounds to lose. And now you're talking about, you know, toning up the butt, losing the belly fat, right? So you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to target multiple niches and get more clients. But here's what's really happening. These guys that want to get shredded are seeing your posts about, you know, losing baby belly, toning up your butt. Do you think they're going to want to hire you as a coach? Hell no. They're going to be like, oh, hell no. This coach is not for me. I want somebody who focuses on what I'm looking for, and that's getting shredded. And on the flip side, those women who are looking for somebody a little bit softer, who are lacking in confidence, and they just want to work on like toning up and start working out in the gym really softly, you know, and, you know, losing their baby belly, and they have 40 pounds and toning up their butt, and they see you talking about getting shredded and big old peaks on your biceps. They're going to be like, oh no, I don't want that coach. So literally what happens when you try to target multiple niches is you push everybody away. And as soon as you get clear on helping one type of person solve their big problem, that's when you're able to zone in it and you're able to create a marketing strategy around helping them solve that problem. And that's where you win.
Amazing, 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 amazing. That's definitely true. And again, it ties back to what the experts say. Just follow the expert advice. Don't try to get every single basket. Focus on one, focus on what you are actually good at, and build your brand around that. Because at the end of the day, people will work with you, not just because you know what you're saying, but because of who you are as a person and as your brand.
100%. Oh, you want
Amazing.
Yeah, you kind of summed it up right there. So Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Kind of walk us through, I know we kind of touched on this, but kind of walk us through how you turn followers into clients, because that's kind of our thing. So kind of break it down for our audience so they can kind of get a gauge. How do you turn a follower into a client?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously the first thing that you have to think about is if you are posting content that resonates with that type of person, that new follower that's coming in, then you have something that they want to learn more on, or that that triggers them. So you have to be able to, first thing is actually reach out to that person. That should be first and foremost. Reach out, say hi, introduce yourself. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. And then comment on something that relates to them. Take a look at their profile. Instead of just saying, thanks for the follow, blank, hanging up the phone, now relate to something. Hey, I see you have a dog. I have a dog too. Or you have a pet, whatever it is. Like, then they're able to be like, oh my gosh, this person's actually looking at my content. It's not a bot. It's not like an auto responding message. It's like an actual human that's in there. And hey, if you have huge following and you have to use an automation tool, then that's cool too, right? You can definitely do that. But the more personal touch that you can have where it literally dives in on there, that is going to be where you're going to be able to hit the mark. And then also be able to like and comment now on this new followers posts, right? Because the more that you can start to trigger that engagement where they start to see you commenting, now they're going to start to comment on some of yours. And like I was saying earlier, that's going to trigger the algorithm where now it's going to start to show your content to them. If you have a good content strategy, now they're going to start to comment on all those things on all of your posts, right? And if you have things like a mindset shift post where you're showing them what they're doing wrong, what they should be doing instead, you're doing hand-raising posts where you're giving away free resources and lead magnets and actually getting their emails, or you're having call to actions, or you're showing social proof, or you're doing live trainings, or you're having, sending them to talking about your case study or your workshop or your challenges, and then also doing things like connection posts where you're diving deep into things on how you overcame, some of the problems that they're facing and what you're doing now and how you're helping others solve that big problem, and doing things like quick tips and all those things. You are going to nurture your prospects faster, right? And they have to see that. And it all starts with starting those personal conversations in there. I say there's 5 C's that you need to focus on, okay? The first C is going to be your content. You have to have the right type of content strategy first and foremost, right? You have to be able to attract the right type of people coming in. If you have the right type of content, that leads to the second C, which is connections. That's going to be more followers, more friends. So if you're on Instagram talking about IG, that's going to be the followers in there. That's what we want. But you want them to be targeted followers, not just any type of followers, right? Because if they're not in your niche and you wouldn't be able to help them out, it doesn't do much, right? Then they're not also going to be interacting in your content, and then it's not going to do anything. So you want to make sure it's targeted followers that you can solve their problem where they will continue to interact on your content, okay? And then from those connections, the next thing is to have conversations with those connections. And if you're doing the conversations correctly, a lot of those conversations, whether it's now, whether it's later, will lead to the call, right? If you're having a call that's being booked, or you have a website, whatever it is. So it's actually the call. And then from the call would be the conversion process, which is actually the sale where you get new clients.
Amazing. So if I'm going to break that down into kind of a little sequence, is you start posting. Posting is the most important part, because if you don't post, no one knows about you. So you start posting, give as much value as possible, get people to interact with your stuff and interact with them as well. Put out lead magnets and sort of stuff to kind of get people's information, and take that wherever you want to take it, whether it's through the email with a nurturing sequence, through the DMs to get kind of personalized, and basically turn that into a sales conversation where you try to get them on a call and see how you can help them, and basically take it home from there. Basically content, quality content, value, comments, engagements to DMs, and basically more comments, more sales, more cash, basically.
Yeah. I mean, there's other little facets in there, but yeah, ultimately that's kind of the goal that you want to hit. And it doesn't always have to be sales conversations when you're first starting off, right? Because sometimes if you jump in too fast, it kind of pushes people away. But if you have connections with them and you have really cool conversations, then the next time they are going to be much more apt to be open to hearing more about what you have to say, especially if you don't push a sale like in the second, comment or second, message that you have from them too. So yeah, it builds everything, and it'll build the whole algorithm outreach too inside there. So yeah, that's ultimately some of the things that we gotta all work on, right, Mike? Is building the 5 C's.
Definitely. Amazing. I really love the value you're giving. Let me kind of ask you this. Social media does get kind of volatile in a way. How do you handle when you've been getting tons of leads because social media has been pushing out your stuff? You've been doing something, right? Maybe you're paying attention to the strategy, maybe not. But what happens when the algorithm changes and, you're getting those 200, 300 views? You're stuck in that jail. What do you kind of do then? What is your strategy to kind of get out of that? Because that's one thing that discourages a lot of young entrepreneurs and coaches on social media.
Yeah. If you're not getting views, it could be, obviously you can be, blacklisted or something like that. If you've done too many interactions too fast and it thinks you're kind of like a bot, you can be kind of like in the little jail that they have. There's other things too that you can do. Is you can always boost a post if you want to get out in front of a larger audience. But first and foremost, if your posts really aren't hitting the mark, then you might have to switch kind of your content strategy, and you might have to put together better frameworks in there. And that just might tell you, hey, what I'm putting out isn't resonating very much with my ideal audience or with my clients that are in my audience. And that could be because, like, how some people just buy a bunch of followers, right? And if those followers are not real followers, then they're not going to be interacting with the content. So the way the algorithm works, obviously, is you put out a piece of content and it's going to show it to a small group of people. From there, depending upon how many people interact on your content, it's either going to continue to push it out some more, or if not enough people interact, then it's going to stay right there and your reach is going to be gone. So you might have to clean out your list, especially if you did like a bunch of, promos or shout outs, or you bought a bunch of bots or followers or something like that, because those can actually hurt you in the long run. Even though it shows now you have more followers, if they're not interacting with your stuff, it's actually going to be hurting you because your algorithm is going to be jacked.
Definitely. Amazing. It's like there's no point buying followers, because followers really, at the end of the day, they are a vanity metric in terms of you can have millions of followers but still make nothing from that audience. And in the industry we call that broke influencer syndrome.
Yeah, I know. Obviously I jump on calls with lots of coaches and they tell me what they're making and so forth because they're wanting my help. And I know plenty of coaches that have hundreds of thousands of followers that make like less than $2,000 a month because they don't have the right strategy and they're not doing it correctly and they're broke. Exactly. Like literally broke. And then I see other coaches. I've helped some coaches where they only have like 800 followers and they're already at 6 figures. Yes. Right. So it's having that targeted following with the right type of messaging and strategy behind it.
Amazing. Man, I'm kind of running out of questions to ask you because like you're really, really giving value. Let me ask you something different. Tell us about those what's it called? Those trophies at the back. Did you compete early in your career?
Yeah, I competed for 16 years. I'm an IFBB pro. Wow. I started in 2002. I stopped competing in 2017. I turned pro in 2015. But yeah, I have tons of trophies. They're all actually inside under here. I have like probably 30 or 40 trophies. Wow. I've been featured in a lot of different magazine spreads, 7 different covers, lots of muscle and fitness and flex. These are like, these are Muscle Mag. I have other ones over here, Muscle Mag covers and a bunch of other stuff too. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't compete anymore. Now I just focus on, working out for feeling good. I train jujitsu every day. And so that's kind of like another way. So I train my weights and then I train my jujitsu, and then I now focus on helping coaches scale their business.
Amazing. Let me kind of ask you this then what is the goal for you, Tobias Young, the personal brand, and your coaching business itself in 2025? Where do you see yourself, numbers wise, income wise? What is the big goal? What is the big dream?
Yeah, so for me, I just want to continue to give more value, help more people in there. And I have a couple different programs. So I have like a 6-week online accelerator, but my main program is like 6 month. It's called the Elite Level Coaches 2.0. And then I'm building out a 3.0, which is where we're going to have like done for you, funnels, websites, and automation. So for those coaches that are already hitting at least 10K per month, we're going to actually do all the things that they need help with and take those things off their plate so we can scale them up faster. And then obviously, put ad spend and things behind that type of thing. So my main focus point now is rolling out the ELC 3.0, which will be launched in 2 months from now. And helping more coaches that are really in that scaling phase be able to continue to scale. And yes, I still have a lot of, coaches that I work with that are more in the getting started phases, or maybe they're in that, 5 to 10K per month mark, and we're working on growth from there. But then now putting in that extra layer to kind of have that done for you component as well. So that's kind of the next framework that we're working on. And then obviously I do workshops and I do challenges and I do those things on a monthly basis as well.
Amazing. I think that done for you aspect is really important in terms of helping them buy back their time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So this way they can have their own virtual assistant. They can have their own tech person. They can have their own, I have a SaaS called Fit Pro Solution, which literally has funnels and things, but literally building out the whole process for them. So they don't have to worry about setting up tech. They can literally have their lead magnet funnel set up. They can have their workshop funnel set up. They can have their challenge funnel set up. They can have all their email nurture sequences set up, their former client automation set up. So when somebody becomes a former client, they're automatically getting nurtured and getting, looped back in and building out their lead gen system. So it's I'm pretty excited about it. Should be pretty badass.
Yeah, it's amazing. The funnels and the systems and the automations and everything. It really does much, man, in terms of speeding things up when you have it in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's literally just like buying back your time. So you can literally just focus on,
exactly.
Helping more people, scaling, 10 times faster. Once you have those things taken off your plate, because as far as fitness, right? Fitness coaches get into fitness because they love helping people and they love making that transformation. Usually fitness coaches don't get into like be rich and be millionaires, right? Those, like the select few, do, and they continue to grow and scale. So I want to help more people become millionaires, too. So
yeah, definitely. It's the same thing we see with our clients. Coaches just want to coach. They don't want to have to worry about, the other side of the content and everything.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what is the, how am I going to ask this? What is the biggest thing that's going to get you there? What is the steps? What is the strategy for you to be able to get to that place? We spoke about your goals and everything. What's the strategy you're going to put in place so our audience kind of tap in?
Yeah. So I already have a full, I have a tech team behind me, which is literally building out a lot of the processes behind the scenes. So we already have about 80% of it done. We're just working on about 20 more percent. Then we're going to take in just a small intake of coaches and help them kind of like as case studies, work out the kinks. And then we're going to work on rolling it out to the masses and scaling. And that'll be, obviously not just the organic side. Then we're going to use paid traffic in order to boost that to a larger audience as well.
Amazing. I'm sure you've used both. Sorry. I'm sure you've used both in the past. Kind of break it down for the audience. Which one performs better and which one should they be looking for, especially if someone is in their position, organic or paid?
Yeah. Initially, I say everybody should hit their mark with organic marketing, because if you don't have your organic system set up, so at least really be tight on your avatar, who you're targeting, the pain points, the demographics, the psychographics, where they hang out online, how to target them, building out your lead gen strategies. If you don't have that done, and then you don't have systems in the back end, like automations, like when a new lead comes in that have like your automation nurture sequences and all those things, you're going to throw a lot of money away, because then all the people that don't book a call, they're going to be lost because you don't have the automation on the back end that's continuing to nurture them. Most people need to be nurtured, and most people won't book a call with you right off the bat. It's just a select few that will actually book a call. And the new coaches that start off, they only focus on that little bit who book a call, and they lose all that back end, which would normally be clients for them if they only had the systems and the nurture strategies in place to continue to follow up. And then also the former client strategies and all those things. So I say what you're going to want to have is wait till you're like at least at 5 to 10K organically before you even touch ads. because you have to make sure that you're generating the right type of strategies. You're able to implement, you're able to find out what your ideal client like really wants. What are the pain points that they're really having? What are the type of lead magnets and resources that they're opting into more? And you're going to find out the ones that like just don't hit the mark. And you're going to have the ones that you put out. They're just like, oh, all of them raise their hand. And you're like, oh, this is the one that we're going to use with ads. So we can boost this and make it go 10 times faster. Right. So in my opinion, it's always starting off with organic and then scaling what's working once you have those strategies with the paid ads.
Amazing, amazing. And another thing with organic is like close rate. Because like if you're selling high ticket and you're hopping on sales calls with people, man, if you're doing organic and you've built kind of a personal brand for yourself and you're seen as that authority, the people come in, it's like they're speaking to this superhero. And it's like,
yeah,
you could be closing upwards of 80% on organic traffic, organic leads.
Yeah. And then when you have, cold leads from like a Facebook ad, they don't know who you are. They're just like clicking on an ad. So your show ratio is going to be way down. Your closing ratio will be way down in there too. That's why I always say work really well with your organic, because then you're also going to be able to get more referrals, more testimonials, more social proof from all those type of people in there. And then you can use that to actually, continue to build out your strategies as well on both sides, organic and paid.
Amazing, amazing. And one last thing is like you said, I think you touched on this as well. It's like those people who don't end up booking the call, if you had an organic system in place, those people will still be funneled back into your system, because with organic, as long as they're following you, they never leave your funnel. Do you know what I mean? Like they're always in that funnel getting nurtured. Some people even, I don't know if you've experienced this, some people will come on a sales call, not continue with you, not move forward with you. They will come because they're in organic and they're still following you, watching your stuff. 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, they're coming back and they're like, hey, basically, here's my credit card. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That's why also with organic, you should have a CRM. That's why I created Fit Pro Solutions. So for every lead that does not convert, you should have follow-up for those clients where you're just literally checking up on them on automation, giving them value on automation, creating resources, which are like, hey, I know it's been, a couple months since we last spoke, but, I thought of you and I created this resource, have a look, tell me what your thoughts are. So you can just reignite that conversation and give value without anything else. And be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And yes, I realize that I might need some help. So can we jump on another call again? And bam, there you go.
Amazing, amazing. I think this has been a really amazing podcast. We kind of dug into everything. It didn't really dive into, what you do. So kind of tell us, I mean, we did, but let me ask you, what is something you wish I asked you on this podcast?
Man, I love being able to help and give value in there. I mean, you can ask me about, the business and those kind of things if you want. It's completely up to you. So wherever you want to take it here, but TNT Fit Pro Coaching is my business. I created a book. I actually wrote a book the end of last year. It's called, here's a little plug, The Online Success Blueprint. So this is the online trainer step-by-step success formula that scales online fitnesses above and beyond 6 figures. So if you're looking to have some of those steps that I was kind of talking about, you can always get my book. It's available on Amazon as well. Or you can go to tntfitprocoaching.com. Check out some of my stuff and see my success stories. Would love to have you. And if this was valuable, you guys, shoot me a message and just let me know what part was most valuable for you. You can, message me on Instagram, Elias Young 1.
Amazing. Let me ask you, we were talking about messaging, kind of dialing down your messaging. In terms of fitness coaches, do you have a particular type of coaches you work with?
Most of the coaches that I do work with are in that growth stage. Like I was saying, they're like in between that 3 to 10K per month. And then they're looking to break past that 10K a month barrier. So they're looking to grow and they're looking to scale. Most of them are working hard and they're needing systems and automations to be able to help scale up. They're needing extra strategies. They're burnt out on the strategies that they have. They're stuck. They're like pulling out their hair because they're working too many hours. And they're just like, I need help. I need strategy. I need structure. I need systems to scale. And that's why we build out a lot of those systems that I was talking about on the back end. So they can have their, lead nurture systems already set up, their lead follow-up systems already set up, their email marketing set up, have their, all their communities set up, creating an irresistible offer where they stand out from all the other coaches, having a high-end sales process that converts like crazy, and then building out their signature program. Lots of fun things that I love to jam on, man. That's kind of like my fun things. I feel like what I do, Mike, I love what I do. So it's like not even like working. I wake up in the mornings like feeling refreshed and ready to help, people crush it. So that's the thing, is like when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah, definitely. And I speak to a lot of coaches on here, and a lot of them, because a lot of them are older guys, so they've gotten to that level where money is not really the driving force anymore. They just want to be in a position where I'm gonna find this person A. Person A is gonna trust me, and I'm gonna trust myself and being confident in myself and my method to carry them over this bridge to where they want to be. And that feeling, they say, as I hear from them, is like it's unmatched. They say it's compared to having a kid and raising a kid.
Yeah, no, it's nice, man. I love it. I have 2 daughters that now I have a new joy, Phil. So it's kind of like fulfilling, different areas. And yeah, it's not so much about money. Money's nice, but once you get to a point where like your financial needs are met, it's kind of nice to be able to give back and just, give a lot of value to other people too, and help them reach that same kind of freedom as well.
Amazing. And yeah, your stuff is amazing, man, in terms of what you lay out for them. Is there anything, do you do any kind of content coaching for them or content services?
As far as what type of content service? So everything, is coaching based. So we work on strategy, we work on implementation. I have frameworks for everything. I have playbooks for every single aspect for online coaches. So coaches that are in the, looking to get to their first 10K month, I have a whole framework on how to get to 10K per month as fast as possible. I have another framework. It's kind of like a growth phase where we go from 10K to 30K. And then I have another phase for those coaches that are at 30K and looking to scale. And that's where my ELC 3.0 is really looking to kick in too, to help those coaches out.
Amazing. So yeah, where can the people go to find out and learn more about what you do, man?
Yeah, so you can go to tntfitprocoaching.com, and that's my main website. You can check it out, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram is Tobias Young 1.
Amazing. Yeah, this has been amazing. Hopefully we can have you on some other time, kind of break down more of this sauce that you're giving. And yeah, it's been amazing.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?